So good day to everyone. So for this video lecture, it is the part 2 on the swine farm analysis. So we're going to talk about some standard technical figures in swine farming. So yung mga ano yan, mga yung mga technical terms na dapat malaman, paano computein, mga ganun, or ano yung definition ng mga technical terms. So, I've compiled some technical terms that are, I think, common and relevant. Pero, mas marami pa doon. Maraming mga technical terms in swine production. So, you can search it on the internet kung gusto nyong malaman lahat. Pero, I've compiled some of the, yung mga important na standard technical figures. So, with that, this will just be a quick lecture. So, first is on the litter index. So, when we say litter index, it is also called as farrowing index. So, tandaan yon. Litter index and farrowing index are the same. So, when we say litter index or farrowing index, this is the number of farrowings taking place in a given period expressed on an annual basis. So, yung mga nanganganak, mga number of farrowings in a given period. Usually 1 year yan. So it is expressed on an annual basis, so 1 year. Yung mga farrowings na nagaganap during 2021, parang ganun. Kung ilan yun yung litter index or farrowing index. So to compute this, that is litter index is equal to 365 days, that's 1 year, divided by the number of days for gestation plus number of days for lactation plus the number of days for dry period. So yun yung pag-compute ng litter index. 365 days, tapos yung number of days na buntis yung baboy, that is for gestation, plus the number of days for lactation, yung nagpapasuso yung baboy, and then number of days for dry period, yung hindi buntis yung sow, yung nanay. So yun, i-sum mo lahat yan. Then 365 days divided the sum of all of that, that is the litter index. Usually yung litter index nasa mga, or farrowing index nasa mga 2.1. Yun yung parang the best scenario is that you have 2 farrowings per sa sow mo per year. Yun yung best scenario. May dalawa at more than 2 farrowings, parang ganun. So, sa average litter size naman, the average number of piglets born alive. So, yun yung average litter size. Kung ilan yung mga piglets that are born alive. So, laging tatandaan yun. Dapat buhay sila. Buhay. Average litter size yun. So, example, yung may 5 kang sow. So, may 5 kang sow. Nanganak lahat. Okay? So, yung sow number 1 mo, 12 pigs. Then, yung sow number 2 mo, 13 pigs. Yung piglets, yung anak. Yung sow number 3, 6 piglets. Sow number 4, 7 piglets. Sow number 5, 10 piglets. So, you add them all up, that will become 48 piglets. Now, you divide it by the total number of sows na may anak na buhay. So, that is 5 sows. So, 48 divided by 5. Yung average litter size natin will be 9.6. So, yun yung pag-compute ng average litter size at saka yung definition niya. Basta tandaan, average number of piglets that are born alive. Dapat buhay. So, stillborn piglets per liter naman, this is the number of stillborn piglets in a liter. So, yung liter kasi yun yung lahat ng anak ng isang sow, that is called a liter. Yung number of, yung mga anak, mga piglets ng isang sow during a farrowing, kung ilan yung anak niya, yun yung liter. Or yung mga anak, yung mga piglets na farrow nung sow natin, that is the liter. So, When we say stillborn naman, yun yung mga parang patay. You could say patay na mga piglets. So the number of stillborn piglets in a litter. So yung mga patay, example, yung sow number 1 mo, 15 piglets um, ipinanganak. Pero may nakita ka, isa yung stillborn. So isa yung hindi gumagalaw, patay na. So yung yung stillborn mo ngayon is isa, one piglet dead, and then yung iba buhay. So 14 piglets alive. So yun, 15 minus 1 kaya naging 14 piglets lang yung buhay, then isa yung stillborn. So yun yung stillborn piglets per liter. So when we say mortality rate, it measures the frequency of death in the herd. So ilan yung namatay doon sa herd mo. It is usually expressed as 100 percentage. So we have here two formulas for that. So first one, number of pigs dead divided by the total number of pigs in the herd times 100. So let's assume na yung total number of pigs mo in the herd is 50. Lahat na yon, from the piglets up to the sows, the boars, the finishers, the growers. So lahat na yon nasa 50. Now, kinompute mo yung gusto mong i-compute yung mortality rate for the month of November. Now, yung na-record mo na namatay for the month of November is tatlo. So, yung gagawin mo, 3 divided by 50 3 divided by 50 times 100, that will become 60%. So yun yung 3 divided by 50 times 100, that will become 6%. So yun yung mortality rate mo. Now, another one is the number of liters born minus the number of weaned liter divided by the number of liters born times 100. Kasi, you could assume na dito sa liters born, from the time na ipinanganak yung mga piglets up to the time that they are weaned, na ipusingdan, you can assume na may mamamatay talaga. So, you can compute for the mortality rate. So, let's just assume na yung sow natin nanganak ng 10 na piglets. After weaning, binilang mo 8 na lang yung natira. So, 10 minus 8, that is 2. Divided by yung number of liters born, which is 10, times 100, that is 20% yung mortality rate mo. So, ganun yung pag-compute. Now, when we say naman reared piglets per sow per year, this is the total number of pigs sold plus the total number transferred to the breeding herd divided by the average herd size. So, yun. Ganun lang. Total number of pigs sold, kung ilan yung nabenta mo, like for this month, assume natin, plus the pig transferred to the breeding herd, kung ilan yung na-transfer na pig doon as a breeder, divided by the average herd size. So, yun yung reared piglets per sow per year. Reared kasi, it assume na pwede mong binenta na or pwedeng ginawa ng breeder. So, yun. So, ito yung sinasabing average herd size. So, when we say herd size kasi, it is the total number of sows in the herd. So, yun yung herd size. Kung ilan yung number of sows in the herd, let's assume sows, pwede rin yung herd mo, breeding herd. Pwedeng breeding herd kasi, kaya sows. Pwede rin yung mga growing herd. So, the total number of growers in the herd, mga ganun. So, then, yung average herd size naman, the average number of sows present in the herd over a defined period of time. So, yun yung number of sows at the start of the period plus the number of sows at the end of the period. So, yun yung average herd size. Now, when we say empty days naman, this is the number of days between weaning or sow's initial service and effective service or the removal from the breeding herd. So, yung empty days, yun yung parang walang hindi productive yung sow natin, yung breeding sow natin. So, yun yung empty days na tinatawag. Number of days between weaning, or yung number of days between yung initial service or effective service ng sow, or yung number of days between yung removal from the breeding herd, yun yung empty days, yung hindi productive yung sow natin. So when we say average, herd average ng empty days, that is 365 divided by yung herd farrowing index. Yung herd farrowing index natin, yun yung litter index natin, minus yung herd lactation length plus 114. So yun yung pag-compute ng ating herd average na empty days. Then when we say failure to farrow naman, yan yung sow that is not farrowed by 120 days after presumed effective service. So yun, failure to farrow. This could be this could cause by a lot of factors. So pwedeng na-abort yung sow natin. May abortion na naganap kaya it failed to farrow, mga ganun. Or talagang malnutrition kaya hindi na-develop properly yung embryo kaya hindi nakabuo and it failed to farrow. Basta when we say failure to farrow, as the term assume, shows that does not farrow by 120 days after presumed effective service. Bakit 120 days? This is like the maximum. Yung average kasi na gestation period ng sow natin is 114 days. Pero you could wait until 120 days kasi may mga sows talaga na late na nagfa-farrow, later than 114 days. Pero after 120 days, hindi pa nag-farrow yung animal, inassume mo na effective yung service na nakunan siya during yung breeding service, then you could say na failure to farrow na. It failed to farrow na yung sow natin. Then farrowing interval naman, yun yung the number of days from one farrowing to the next farrowing. So, nanganak ngayon, yung sow natin, nanganak ngayong November 28, let's assume. So, after that, magbibilang ka after yung next farrowing ng sow na yon. So marami yan. So yung bibilangin mo yung lactation days. So bibilangin mo yon. Yung dry period niya, bibilangin mo yon. Yung after that, yung breeding. So may mga 21 days pa yon. Depende kung it failed to hindi siya naging pregnant, so maghihintay ka ulit ng 21 days, mga ganun. And then lastly is bibilangin mo yung gestation period niya, which is average 114 days. So all in all, yung sum ng lahat ng days na yun yung farrowing interval nung sow na yun. So yung aim dapat is hindi ganun katagal yung farrowing interval. So, it is assumed na mas maganda yung breeder na yon kung mas konti lang yung days of farrowing, yung farrowing interval niya. Meaning, mas productive yung sow natin pag ganun, pag mas maliit yung days of farrowing interval niya. Then, when we say full-term empty naman, these are sows that go full-term, presumed pregnant, and do not farrow. So, yun. Parang failure to farrow rin. Ayun, yun yung full term empty. Sows that go full term, meaning they are assumed na pregnant, na nakikita na parang pregnant sila, pero hindi sila nag-farrow, hindi sila nanganak, then that is full term empty na tinatawag. Which is, this type of sows, they can be added na kasta. They have added cost kasi nga they are presumed pregnant. So when you say presumed pregnant, then ano yan, talagang more labor, more feed cost, mas marami talagang labor na magaganap kasi nga you assume it that is pregnant, then parang mas ano yung pag-manage mo kasi maraming kailangan, mas iba yung nutrient requirement na kailangan ng isang pregnant sow. Iba rin yung management na dapat na i-apply mo doon sa pregnant sow. So, yun, added cost, added labor, pero hindi nag-farrow, so medyo malulugi yung sow producer natin pag ganun. Then, sa gilts naman, you have yung tinatawag nilang average age mated. So, the total age in days of gilts when mated divided by the number of gilts. So, yun. Yung total age in days of gilts when mated, let's just say, nasa mga ilan days yung let's just say 1 year na na-mate yung gilts natin. So, nasa 365 days divided by the total number of gilts. Yung total number of gilts, lahat na yun. Lahat na ng gilts kahit hindi pa na-mate. So, yun yung average age mated. So, yung gilts wastage naman na tinatawag, yun yung gilts intended for breeding and not served divided by gilts served in the same period expressed as percentage. So, ito, gilts not served divided by the total gilts selected divided by total gilts selected, dapat ito. Then, times 100. So, yung total gilts selected, ito nandito na yung serve and not serve. So, yun yung gilt wastage. Kasi nga, hindi mo na serve, hindi na breed itong mga gilts na to. So, yun. Basta total gilts selected, total ng gilts mo that are ready for breeding, either na serve na sila, na breed na sila, or hindi pa sila na serve. So, yun. Total gilts selected yun. Times 100 because it is expressed as percentage. So, yun yung gilts wastage na tinatawag. Now, we also have what we call as NIP or NIPs. So, NIPs, these are not in pigs na tinatawag. So, sows that go full term, which is presumed pregnant and do not farrow, which is similar to the other term that I've discussed, wherein yung sow, presumed pregnant pero hindi sila nag-farrow. So, yun yung NIP na tinatawag. Now, we also have what we call as service index. So, when we say service index naman, that number of services taking place in 1 year divided by the average herd size. So, yun yung service index na tinatawag. Yung ilan yung services that is taking place in 1 year divided by that average herd size. That is service index. Then, weaning to service interval naman, the interval between date of weaning and the date of first service. So, date of weaning, it is day 0. So, meaning, if nag-wean ka ngayon, the next day ka pa magbibilang. So, nag-wean ka ngayon, November 28, dapat magbilang ka after November 28, which is November 29. So, day 1 mo na yon. After, bibilangin mo lahat ng days after na-service ulit or na-breed ulit yung sow mo, that is weaning to service interval. So, yon. Between the interval, the days between yung weaning up to the first service. So, So, yun yung weaning to service interval. Then, lactation length or weaning age naman, ito yung total lactation days divided by the total number of sows farrowed. That is lactation length or weaning age na tinatawag. Kasi yung lactation days, yun yung nagpapasuso yung sow natin. So, yun yung lactation days. Divided by yung total number of sows farrowed, then you can get yung lactation length or yung weaning age. Kasi yung lactation length, you could say na nasa yung lactation length, let's assume lang na yung lactation length mo is nasa 30 days. So, yung 30 days na yon, after that, then pwede mo nang i-wean yung animal, yung piglet. So, yung days na nagpapasak or nagsususo yung mga weaned piglets natin, yun na rin yung weaning age nila. So, 30 days rin yung weaning age nung piglets natin. Kaya magkapareho yung lactation length at saka yung weaning age. So, yun yung mga different or some of the important na mga figures natin, mga term, mga technical terms natin, technical figures when it comes to the production in swine production. So marami pa dyan, you can research on it, marami pa dyan na mga technical figures. So with that, that ends my video lecture for this farm analysis part 2. So please review this kasi lalabas ito sa mga exam ninyo. And with that, thank you for listening.